This is Dave Lockwood with Remove It Pros Demolition, and we're just bringing you some information on this new channel. We're droning the whole island here. So this is Bowditch Park, and you can see how a lot of Bowditch has been cleaned up, but the facilities are still not open. So, hey, we inspire you to kind of pester your Lee County commissioners and that, and say, hey guys, let's get this park open back up. You know, we need it. It's good. It's part of our tourist attraction, part of our beach. We need more things for people to do when they get here. The island is coming along quite fabulously. Listening to Torkelson talk a couple weeks ago at Margaritaville, they were talking about what was going on in Times Square with Mr. Prasad. Torkelson seems to know more about this kind of stuff than anybody, and it would make sense since he's a big player in this on our island. So what he said is that our progress, what we have got, the amount of work that has been completed since these hurricanes is actually significant compared to other areas. And you know, he didn't expand on that very much, but he doesn't seem to be a guy who exaggerates or over. You know, he just doesn't seem like he seems like he's a real, he's all about the facts. Okay. So I kind of trust what he said. I never got any more clarification on it. Please pardon the drone footage on this. We have a new guy learning the drone, and you know, he'll get better at it. So half of this was done by him and the other half was done by our veteran drone operator. So, so this is us going up every single street on Fort Myers Beach and going up the beach itself. And, you know, just showing progress. I mean, look at how much cleaner the beach looks. It looks so much better. All these houses right here, these were here a few of them have been completed after the hurricane. The rest were there during, before Hurricane Ian came in. And everybody got damaged, even these newer houses on the lower levels. But as you can see, the newer houses that are elevated, and that's the new flavor for the whole beach now. You know, the day of the beach cottages is over. There's only a small amount of them that are left. You know, so this is what we got to. This is our new ball game. The new code says you need to be up. I'm pretty sure I don't know if it's the same everywhere. Probably isn't. I have a general contractor's license. I should know this, but all I do is demo. So I'm not putting stuff back in. So there's some really cool lots available. But 11 feet is what I've heard multiple times. And that your elevation on your lot has to be a minimum of 5. And please, if you guys are contractors watching this, please correct me if I'm wrong on that. So these two buildings here are ginormous. I'm not sure what they are. It looks like a single family house with a cottage on the back of it, very large cottage. So this is Lagoon. We actually tore this lot right here to the left. We tore that house down, and you know, the whole ball game's different now. This is a different ball game. Here's the pier. The pier is they're saying completion date of 2027, so they should be starting on it pretty soon. Part of that will be demoing that out. This is our new quote-unquote roundabout. This is what's left of the Times Square area. Notice that surf styles on both sides of the street here. This is old San Carlos Boulevard, and this has become our new Times Square, more or less. Okay, now this is the new area where they play, where they have bands playing, and I'm trying to think of what they call it. Something point. I'm not thinking about it, sir. But anyway, Nervous Nellies is on one side, Snug Harbor's on the other. That's Wahoo Willie's behind there. And that's San Carlos Boulevard going all the way up there. And the road used to come across this street back in the day when they first, when Fort Myers Beach was first put in. Okay, so here's Margaritaville. That's the amazing pool. Now that pool has been full of sand several times since the hurricane hit. Before Margaritaville even got completely opened, they had they got hit by Hurricane Ian. So these guys, they might be a little butthurt because they have been restricted to what they could build, and now some of these projects that they're approving down the street are significantly bigger. Notice the roof deck here. This is the Lani Kai, and that roof deck is going to be a really big deal. That's going to change that whole area up there. What a great idea, guys! That was awesome. Whoever came up with that idea, because now you can be, when you're on the beach, you want to be in the sun when you want to be in the sun. You don't want to be in the sun all the time. So this is the whale. We did a video on that, and what he's putting in there is unbelievably amazing, and you should see the views. It's incredible. So this is Palermo, and this is one of those really special streets on the island. There's a lot of really cool construction on this street. You still have the old with the new. The location's really good because you can live here and walk to just about anywhere in just a few minutes. There's the bay. You see all the mooring balls and that out there. And it's kind of nice that we don't have a bunch of derelict boats right now. The hurricane took care of that for a while, at least. And what we're showcasing here is, we're kind of saying, hey, look at our progress. Look at how good this looks. Hey, come visit Fort Myers Beach. So there was that big house with the turret on there, like a lighthouse on that, and they tore that down and they're building a new house, and it looks amazing. We actually did the tear down on that. Again, this is the whale, and the whale is what he's doing there is truly spectacular. It's really, really what we have coming is it's going to be really nice. And I know there's a lot of resistance to the new projects coming in, and all traffic based mainly and infrastructure based. Taking those two things out of the equation, the amazing amount of stuff that we're going to have here as far as tourist attractions and amenities that we can use as owners here is going to be amazing. And it's going to be the fresh new thing. It's going to be something that, it really sucks that we lost a lot of our character, but it's really cool that we're going to have all these new things that we can do here. It's going to be fascinating. So look at all those houses. Look at how nice they look. So the downside getting hit by a hurricane is obviously, about 100 people died, and that sucks like crazy. You wouldn't believe how much that sucks. And then a lot of the things that were poorly constructed didn't make it through the hurricane. This is Miramar. And then what's happening is we're going to get kind of a major reset on the whole island. So everything is going to be in very good condition, at least for some period of time. I would think forever, because, this is going to be kind of a healthy or a wealthy place to live. You're going to have some significant money to live here, or at least to buy here. If you're already here, I think you're fine. But my God, it's kind of like Naples is all generational wealth. I don't know, just mind blowing how much everything costs now. So this is the Diamond Head up here to the left, and that Diamond Head, if you don't know this, is what spearheaded the town of Fort Myers Beach to get involved and to get the town separated off of Lee County so we can have more direct impacts on or influence on what's being built, so that we're not turning into a Miami skyline is the consensus. That is, before my time. That started, I think it was in 94, 95, something like that. And, they wanted to keep this a little bitty beach fishing type town is what they're trying to accomplish. So each one of these streets, we're basically going up the street and then going up the next street, and then we're doing this all the way up the island. So, just look at this. You don't see any debris on the street. You don't see a lot of trash laying around. The dumpsters are starting to be gone. You're not seeing the Connex boxes everywhere. A lot of the condo buildings are still being worked on. I think about 40% of them are still empty. That's my number, my guesstimation of that. The Look at these streets, though. Look at these places. I mean, it's beautiful. It's absolutely beautiful, and the amount of stuff that has been. I mean, the big developments we really have had very little traction and very little activity for on the big developments, but on the houses wise, we have built a tremendous amount of houses here. If you see off into the beach there, you see there's still some of the beach renourishment stuff still here. I used to live right there in those two houses where the green roof is. There was a cottage there. So this is what we have to work with, man. Look at how nice and clean and controlled. Again, the Hurricane Ian will be the 3-year anniversary will be the 28th of September of this year. So if you look at the mangroves, they pretty much got them all cleaned up. You don't see boats laying in the middle of them. The mangroves are starting to grow back. This is bay oaks. They got the tennis courts there. They still have a mess in there. They'll recover that and turn it back into a baseball field eventually. Well, or they'll do whatever they want to do to it. There's the beach school. There's some concern that they're not going to be able to get that back here. This building right here was a church, destroyed. It's up for sale. The green building there, that was the library. And here we go, going back up into another neighborhood. But notice you're not seeing the dumpsters. You're not seeing the Connex boxes. You're not seeing the construction trucks on every street. Now, they are here, for sure. They're here. So, again, that's another view of the school and the back part of the library. With the library just opened up, they got their elevators back. These two buildings here, the one to the left, the Keeper is what I think it's called. They got it back up online pretty daggone quick. This one right here, it seems like they're still working on it. They just finished that building up that's in the parking lot. Not sure what that is. If you look down the beach, you see the pipe is still running down the beach. Notice how much of the ocean can be seen from Estero Boulevard now. You didn't have that before. You would drive almost down the whole Estero Boulevard in between houses, garages, landscaping. You could barely see little glimpses of the ocean. And now when you drive down through here, you see a lot of it. The guys that own the Whale just bought that gray building right there. They're going to put like a restaurant or something like that in there. They're not 100% sure. We're coming up to Denora right here. And look at these. Look at this. This was a street that had very significant impacts. And look how cleaned up it is. Looks nice. Looks really nice. You know, the Seagate project, which is 17 stories, is created a lot of division on the island. There's two camps pretty much on that. There's the camp that wants it and they're afraid to say anything, and then there's the camp that absolutely doesn't want it, and they are actively opposed to it and threatening lawsuits. So the um, the infrastructure, I don't know if it can handle it. I don't know. They just redid the whole island. I would think that they anticipated some additional capacity on there, but I don't think they would have anticipated the amount of additional capacity that they would need to have all these additional projects, uh, gigantic projects built on the island. So, who could have ever imagined that we would get impacted this significantly all at one time? I mean, literally every building on this island has got hit, pretty hard. So um, that's the fire department right there to the left. That building right there actually was built up on uh, pilings, and the design was poor, and it got pushed over on Milton. This is another house that's went up pretty quick. Um, and again, if you notice each one of these streets as we go up them, what are you seeing? You're seeing it cleaned up. You're seeing people taking care of stuff. You see that there's not very many houses that are in significant disrepair, that they should be torn down. And it's kind of a beautiful thing. So let's talk about the beach renourishment for a minute. The beach renourishment, they were busting their butts trying to get out of here by May 1st. They're still at it. They're actually adding some sand. It's what they basically did is they jumped from, like, on the other side of Lani Kai all the way down to Leonardo Arms for a minute. And this is me talking to Dan Allers. And they were doing that just so that they could make sure that the most buildings that were in the most jeopardy would get addressed first. So they went down there and they got like almost 300 feet. I measured 330 feet. Of course, I did it pacing. I used to be a land surveyor in the Air Force, so I just paced it out. It seemed like 330 feet. I might be off 5 feet from the corner there of the seawall on Leonardo Arms. So you still see there's quite a bit of that pipe is still on the beach. So they're still at it. I would imagine that the people who are the turtle advocates are probably losing their minds right now, because these guys are still working on the beach. I've seen several places. I ride my bike on the beach pretty frequently, and I've seen several places where the turtles came up to the pipe and turned around and went right back to the ocean. I also saw a couple places where the turtles just came over to the pipe, climbed right over it, and laid their eggs, and climbed back over it and went back to the ocean. So I don't know what the impacts are there. I know that ideally we wouldn't have an additional obstacle for our turtles to deal with. And God bless you guys that do all the turtle stuff on the beach. Part of me thinks it's overkill. Part of me thinks, well, if nobody's going to be an advocate for them, they're going to go extinct, at least for our area. So here is Beach Baptist. Beach Baptist had people coming in their campers, staying for free in their lot. Somehow they thought that was cool. I don't understand that myself. Not being a good neighbor, if you ask me. But at any rate, they didn't have insurance on their building, and what they did is they traded off half of the property to get somebody to build them a church inside of the facility that they're going to build. So I don't know if that fell apart or not. I know that they did split it. I haven't seen any plans in there for them proposing to do anything. The initial proposal that they came out with was it didn't line up with anything that the city was requiring. It was way overbuilt for the area. But all this stuff is, if you're a developer, you're going to ask for everything and take what you can get. So that's what's going to happen. So I like to see them back open again. That's where I was going to church. So this house here was built before the hurricane. I know the guy that built it. I've been doing a bunch of work for him. These two houses here were just built by, let me think of what the name of that is. Those guys are. It's Randy Stam. I can't think of the name of him right now, but they do a good job. They're doing a lot of high-end stuff on the island. When I first met them, they were just doing little stuff everywhere. Property medic is what it's called. So if you need something done, the rumor is, or the hubbub is, that these guys are they're reasonably priced. They do a good job, and I noticed that Randy's a Christian guy, and he is using guys that are younger and working with them and teaching them. So it's a good thing. So look at all of that. Look at all the land in front of the on Estero Boulevard, where all these big houses are gone. All these big frame houses that were built, in various parts of history. And hey, there's 1-800 junk. So at any rate, the island, as you see, as we're going through each and every street, it's looking better and better every time. It's looking better and better. Look up there in the mangroves. Notice there's no boats up in the mangroves. So we're going to come up around. We tore down a 7-story building up here on Estero Boulevard, right across from Publix, and and that's up for sale. There's a lot up for sale on the island. The Arches, which is Moss Marine, they just got their approval. Here's another house that's going up on the beach, and one of my buddies stayed in those buildings right there. I think they're called Oceans something or other. I can't think of the name of it. He stayed in there during the hurricane, and he witnessed all this stuff going down. He was on the 4th floor here. He actually just moved here from California. And I don't know. Look at these streets, though. How many dumpsters have you seen? Haven't seen any, right? Or practically any. No Connex boxes. I think the time frame on these mobile homes and RVs and stuff, people to be on their lots without having building permits underway, is reaching the tail end of its life. There's only a certain period of time that they allow this stuff. And these are FEMA rules, not Fort Myers Beach rules. Fort Myers Beach rules, I'm not sure what they are. But these right here, these buildings did fairly well in the hurricane. The Snook by here took a real hit. Junkanoo and Fresh Catch moved off of the beach, and I don't know if they bought this or leased it, but they are right here in this building to the left. Really nice food. I eat there all the time. There's not a lot of stuff on the south end of the island still yet. Santini Plaza is starting to fill up. This is the Publix right here. And the Publix has got a little bit higher elevation. It's probably at 15 for the floor. I'm just basing that off of my house. So if you look up here on the ocean side next to the pink house, that's where that 7-story building was, where you see all the cars and the porta potty set up. That is Newton Park, and that used to be it was a house that somebody donated, and they turned it into facilities, bathroom facilities, and I don't know what they used the rest of the building for, maybe just for storage. This building right here to the right, after Adalia, the roof they just put on it got flopped onto the parking lot. And again, look at this. Look at this. We have come so far so quick. I mean, look at how nice all these streets are. And also, again, notice how you're not seeing you're not seeing as many work trucks. You're not seeing dumpsters. There's a brand new build right there. So these buildings coming up here in front of us on the beach side on Estero Boulevard. If you look at them, the buildings to the left of the one with the red roof, those two buildings there, they did a total rebuild on them. They put their HVAC system or their condensers and stuff up on the roof. They did windows, doors. Looks like they stripped them all the way back to nothing. We did a house down here. This house that they're building right here, the tallest house on the street right now, we tore that house down about 6 months ago. This is Glenview, and man, they're busting it out. They got that one all the way up. When we went down there and filmed something the other day, and we couldn't figure out where the lot was, and we realized that the house was on it. So as you see here, you don't see them. You're not seeing the work trucks. You're not seeing dumpsters in a big way. There is a ton of work still going on, but a lot of the residential stuff has come a long way. There's really not a lot of commercial stuff going up right now. The beach bar on the beach, and then the whale. Those are the commercial ones that are coming to mind that are underway. The Arches was just approved. I don't know what that means. I don't know. I know there's significant amount of paperwork that goes into any of these developments. Look at how many houses are missing on these streets. These streets would have had all houses and maybe one vacant lot. This is back on, I think this is Williams is the name of the road. All right, so we're coming back up. This is Avena Pescadora. This right here, the blue house, is the one where Rick lived on the roof there of his garage for like 2 weeks or something to try to raise some awareness about some of the silly stuff that they were going to do. That he had a garage that was built to the current code, and because of some technicality, he was going to have to tear it down in order to build this new house that he's building. Now, he built a new house. It has garages underneath it, but he was able to keep this garage. And sometimes you just got to do, the city's got to sit back and say, okay, does this make sense or not? Because sometimes the code doesn't really address every single situation, and you can't try to fit everything into the cookie cutter. Sometimes you got to just use your brain and say, wait a second, this doesn't make any sense. So fortunately, they did that, and he was able to keep his garage. So that house that burned down, we just passed it a few minutes ago. It's gone. We did a nice job cleaning that up. That lot still looks awesome. Look at the size of this monster. Oh my gosh. Isn't that something? Beautiful, 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 beautiful. So again, each one of the streets, there's a dumpster there. There's another dumpster. But I mean, look at it. It looks great. The debris gone. There's not as many RVs sitting around as there were. There is some pressure coming from FEMA to make sure that anything that's got a portableness to it can be taken off the island with an ordinary pickup truck. And if you can't, then it's not supposed to be here. And again, everything I'm telling you, I'm hearing it through Beach Talk Radio or the radio, or listening to and reading the different things that come through social media. So I'm not pretending to be an expert by any means. We have a demolition company. We are actually bringing you this content on that channel. And we split the channel into Fort Myers Beach and educational channel called Pure Entrepreneur, Remove It Pro's Pure Entrepreneur. And then our main channel, we just turned 48,000 subscribers. If you don't have a reference point for that, 48,000 subscribers on YouTube in less than 2 years is very good. So it actually puts us in the top 2% as far as on YouTube. Most channels never get to that point. Now, we've had some professional coaching. They're showing us how to do it. And we made some mistakes where we were bringing too many types of content on one channel, and it kind of messed up the way that the computer, the algorithm pushes us out. This is one of the other gated communities of Fort Myers Beach. I think there might be 2 or 3 at the most. And so back to the beautifulness of our island. Look at all these houses. They've all been renovated. They got their new roofs on them. There's not very many that are in significant state of disrepair. These condominiums, what the condominium associations are going through right now is kind of, I would call it it's a convergence of several storms at the same time. Not only did they get hit by Ian and the additional insurance that they're going to have to carry, and all the damage that they had and the assessments that are going to come with that if they were underinsured. They got that, and then they also got this milestone. I think that's what it's called. Basically, what it is every 25 years, or I shouldn't say every 12. Once a building is up for 25 years, it has to have this new structural inspection. And during that structural inspection, you have to make repairs to your building, and it covers a whole bunch of the different components on the building, and it could amount to millions of dollars. So then the other thing that happened, this happened in January, the beginning of this year, 2025, they came in and they said, okay, you no longer can decide not to fund your basically your condo reserve funds. You can't do that anymore. So right here you see they tore down the 7-Eleven. They bought that along with this building here. The blue building's going to be the new town hall. And so what they did is they had all these things happen all at the same time. So you have the increased insurance, the assessments, because most of these buildings were not insured adequately enough. And a lot of them are fighting with their insurance companies. And what's happened is now the condo fees are going to be significantly higher. And I'm hearing on the low end, it's going to be $1,000 a month on every condominium down here. So there are a few condominiums. I've talked to different people who were very well funded, and they've been very diligent about doing things a certain way, and they're doing good. So right here, the Beach Theater is going to become two different restaurants, one downstairs, one upstairs. Steve Bogue, talking to him. They're getting their docks put in right now. And they also own a building across the street. And I think Stevens is going to do the build out on that for them. I don't know if it's going to be a mobile or I don't know if it's going to be a motel or hotel or whatever, or if it's going to be condos. So look at all this. Look at the monster there. That's wow. What a good location. There's some wave runners down there in the water. And if you notice, the water's clear right now. We have been through a very dry, rainy season, so they haven't had to release from the Okeechobee in a while. So we've had some pretty decent water for a while. We're not getting all that nasty stuff that comes down the Caloosahatchee. If you don't know where the Caloosahatchee is, it's the river that runs between Fort Myers and Cape Coral, and it comes and connects all the way out to the Lake Okeechobee. So a lot of these buildings here, like this building here, these guys, I talked to somebody in this building. Well, I'm not this one, the next one over. So this is Fairview Isles, and this is another area that has a pretty low elevation, and these houses have gotten flooded over and over and over. We just tore one down there, and they fully renovated this house, and then they ended up tearing it down because it got flooded again with Milton. I got flooded again with Milton. Not much, but I got flooded. Yes or no? Did you get flooded? Yes. This one not bad enough that I bothered my insurance. I just cleaned it up myself. So the rest of these, look at this. I mean, there's a dumpster there. That looks like a brand new build. It's beautiful. People are taking care of their stuff. A lot of bigger houses being built. Fort Myers Beach is never going to be the same. The good, the bad, and the ugly. So shout out to Ed Ryan and Kim. I'm actually going to interview them on this channel. I'm just trying to get some traction on this channel before we do too much. And then I'm going to go and interview people, and I'm going to ask them questions like, hey, what do you love about Fort Myers Beach? Hey, you came from, Illinois. What do you like about Fort Myers Beach? And really just become advocates for our new area, and really kind of push. We need more tourist activity to support these businesses that are coming in. We also need more businesses to get opened up and legitimately opened up, not being opened up in a food truck or anything like that. Although there is going to be, they did approve the food truck park, which is awesome. you know, and that had its own drama. But that's a good thing. We need more businesses, in order to attract people to the island, for the businesses to prosper, so that we can all have the benefits of the businesses. They need to have enough business that they can stay open. So um, these condos right here, you look at them, they're like tucked all the way back in here on this little peninsula. It's kind of interesting. Very cool. There's a lot of different flavors on Fort Myers Beach. There's a lot of different styles of housing. These condos and these townhouses and the houses themselves, and then the houses and the condos and stuff that are on the beaches. By the way, those brown buildings right there that are right on the beach, they got themselves back together and back up and running very, very quickly. The interior's unlimited. Their building is almost done. They must do a great job. I don't know much about them. I wish we could work for them. This is the Wyndham. This is. I hear there's going to be a pool, kind of a like a Margaritaville setup here. It'll be a bar and a big old pool, and that's what's in the wind now. This guy right here. They've gotten quite a bit more debris out of there. Believe it or not, they're only probably 70% done with this, because once they get all this debris off of this property, now they got to dig up all the foundations. Now, this is the complex I was talking about here to the left that supposedly has been very well funded. That's the CVS. Here we're getting into Santini Plaza, and Santini Plaza has surf style open. They have the hardware store is now open. There is an ice cream shop. Forgive me, guys, I don't remember the name of it. There's several shops in there. The Badass Coffee looks like it's going to open up any day. And I hear that they're starting here any minute on the uh, South Beach Grill, I think is what it's called. So we're starting to get some businesses on the south end. There's practically nothing down here. They've been working on this little by little, the marina itself. I heard that Pinchers is going in to the old what am I thinking of? I can't think of the name of it, but it's the restaurant that's behind Santini Plaza. So all that looks great. Walker's is running crazy business. They're doing great. The guy that bought Santini Plaza shortly before the Hurricane Ian, um, my heart goes out to you, buddy. That's had to been a long, stressful situation. So here we are. This is where that is Leonardo Arms. If you look around, what's wrapped around that, that's a seawall. There was a 4 to 5 foot elevation difference here, and they pushed this out. I actually measured it. I walked it. I paced it. It was 330 feet from the building, right in the middle of the building. I walked all the way out. And again, I used to be a land surveyor in the Air Force, so I paced it off like I would if we were trying to locate stuff. So Leonardo Arms looks great. This is Bay Beach. Bay Beach is looking awesome as well. They have cleaned up the old golf course, and they put in pickleball and tennis and walking trails and stuff like that in the old golf course. I guess a bunch of these condominiums got together and bought that up when the golf course went sideways. If you look at all these complexes, they're in very good condition. There's not a tremendous amount of work being done on them right now, so we've come a long way with that. Everything's looking wonderful. Now we're going to start seeing these big developments get underway, and it's going to be an interesting ball game. There's a lot of people uh, that are against these big developments. Me personally, I'm against the traffic. If the developments can be in place and we can have the traffic not be something that's not manageable, um, you know, it's kind of like it's nothing we can do about it anyway. These guys paying these crazy amounts of money for these properties, they're going to have, if they're going to develop them, they got to put something in that makes sense. So I don't know what we can do about that. But anyway, you can see the trails in here. This was the old Fort Myers Beach golf course. Again, everything I tell you, I don't know this stuff. It's not written on a stone tablet somewhere. I just hearing and reading and following what's going on the beach. So pickleball here to the right, tennis to the left, and then walking trails, nice walking trails all throughout this. And this is all owned by all of these condominiums. There are condominium associations. That trailer right there used to be a triple wide trailer. We tore that down after the hurricane. They're still selling a few of those. That's my truck right there. And then like this one right here is partially worked on. This one right here is not getting worked on at all. It's the Mariners. I don't know what's going on with that. This one right here is just getting new windows put in it. This one, they've just been working on it a lot recently. That's where the excavator was sitting. That's where they were putting sand out onto the beach. They had like 20 and 25 trucks out there every morning for several months. This is we're getting to the tail end of the island. This right here is Laguna Shores. And Laguna Shores, there's a lagoon right behind here. That lagoon right there has a whole bunch of manatees. It's got a lot of grass. And guys, you know, when you're coming through here, by the way, you need to slow down. There's manatees can't get out of your way. They're slow moving, and it gets pretty narrow down there as you get out of here. So please be careful. We don't want to hit any of these manatees. I've seen a lot of the dolphins and stuff recently. I've seen 2 or 3 of them. They've been hit multiple times. So just be careful. So this is Laguna Shores. I mean, look at it. There are some bad eggs in here that need to be either torn down or bought and renovated, like this blue house right here to the right. That's like 500 grand for that, which is nothing in this neighborhood. The real estate values are falling on the island. If you don't have to sell right now, this is not a good time to sell. And it's kind of everything. The pause button's been hit on the whole island. There's just not a tremendous amount of sales going on, and but you know, there's just too much in the air, too much dialogue going on about what's going on, and too much infighting and stuff. There's my truck again. So here, this building this white building with the blue trim, just now getting occupied. They started working on that green building there, and then they stopped. I don't know what happened with that. And then all these houses down through here, 2 or 3 of these frame houses, elevated. They're elevated, but they're not been worked on, and they're not up for sale either. I don't know what's going on with them. Maybe they're just waiting for the market to come back or something. This one right here to the left, the guy was having all kinds of rat problems and stuff with that. They got that one torn down. And here we go down. This building right here to the right is still empty. It is a huge building. The white building up here just got through its milestones inspection, and it's gotten the repairs done. And fortunately, they are at the very tail end of dealing with the Florida Structural Group, so they didn't get hurt by them. They filed bankruptcy, if you don't know about that. So hey, it's Dave Lockwood with Remove It Pros Demolition. This is our My Fort Myers Beach channel. And if you want to advertise on this channel, we're going to ramp this thing up quite a bit, and we're going to focus on businesses and positive things for our island, and we're going to push. So all right, so we'll see you on the next video, and thanks for watching.